exceptions will be tolerated. 2 supporters of enemy countries will be arrested and placed in federal detention without going through any trial. These people will then have their American citizenship revoked and will only be able to recover it if they decide to fight at the front. A reward of $300 will be given to anyone who reports one of these people. In order not to be confused with one of these traitors to the nation, we ask that you proudly wear the American flag on your clothing. Here is some latest news from the front. The Russian army now has full control over Ukrainian territory. The American troops had to withdraw from Ukraine, not being ready to confront the devastating attack of 78 Sukhoi Su-35, 218 Mi-24 and more than 200 heavily armed McCoy and MiG-29. Allied forces are currently fighting on the Polish borders to curb the Russian invasion, which now seems targeted beyond Ukraine. More than 80,000 NATO soldiers have lost their lives since the start of the conflict. The death toll on the Russian side is uncertain. The Kremlin also took the opportunity to regain control of former Soviet Union countries located near the Black Sea. These countries are now no longer independent and have been annexed without scruple. Moldova, Georgia and Armenia are now part of Russia. A front in Asia is forming. North Korea, supported by China, sent threats to South Korea, which has 15 U.S. military bases. The invasion is very likely within the next few hours. Japan will then be one of the only allied countries in the region of the world. India has officially agreed to join the allied forces. Being surrounded by enemy countries, they will be entitled to the support of our army in order to open a new front and thus divide the Chinese forces which have recruited Cambodia, Vietnam, Philippines and Indonesia. This morning, the U.S. Navy repelled more than 59 P-800 Onik missiles from Cuban shores. None of these missiles aimed at U.S. destroyers caused any damage. Although we are still in defensive mode, we will not hesitate to retaliate if this continues. The 4G and 5G communication systems were disrupted during the day yesterday. This is under investigation by the FBI, but it is very likely that enemy hackers are the suspects in this attack. We ask that you use your internet connection to a minimum in order to leave the most bandwidth to the emergency services. This is now considered World War III. If you want to be a part of history, join the Army and fulfill your duty. Find a recruiting center at www.army.no. www.army.no.